Who can play the game? Tinubu sends a very earth-shaking signal to the north. As we can see, Tinubu is finally cementing the southern coalition against the north. Since 1960, that Nigeria had our independence, there's one thing the north have always had: a coalesced, or should I say a joint northern bloc that has been able to define and decide those or whoever becomes the president of the country. Never have we seen a situation whereby the southern Nigeria are coalescing, putting aside their differences to work together, even if they are criminals, right? But in this century, in this era of 2025, we can see that Tinubu has been able to aggregate his gangs of southern governors who are all criminals, but they are now joining APC to work against the northern hegemony. And we can see that the northerners are shivering, they are shaking. I mean, look at how El-Rufai is running helter-skelter. And just yesterday, one of the major financiers of the northern politician, Delta State, right? The Delta State governor, I can't recall his name, the Okowa appointee or anointed candidate with his master, have now decamped into APC. Don't forget that the PDP, who has been captured by the North, the PDP is captured by Atiku and his co-northern governors, came out to say that the South will only spend 4 years. They came out that Tinubu will only spend 4 years and they will reclaim the power. We saw how a man called El-Rufai left APC for SDP, and they are trying to have a coalition to extract the CPC faction from the APC into SDP, and by that do everything possible to prove that statement that in Nigeria of today, the power brokers, those that will always and infinitely decide whoever becomes the president will be the North, right? And when Tinubu saw this, he said, do not worry, two can play the game. I am not here to maybe market Tinubu or tell you Tinubu is performing well, but as a political scientist that I am, and a political critical strategist, for Nigeria to move forward, Nigeria needs to dismantle the northern hegemony. Let me repeat that. For Nigeria to move forward, the South must grow. They must outgrow the fear that they have for the North. Now, how they do this, and those who do this, does not really matter at this stage. We can begin to enlist those southern governors. They are all basically criminals. You know, so many of them have criminal charges against their names. We know how Okowa has been alleged to have stolen a lot of money. We know so many of these people. Look at Godswill Akpabio. So many of them and their stooges who are the current governors of their states today. Those things at this stage do not matter. What matters right now is let us break. Okay, let us break into pieces that very strong fist grip that the North has over us in the South, because most times our southern governors, they are like cowards. Okay, they are too feeble-minded. If any threat comes from the south, from the northern extraction of the country, the south begins to we are afraid, we are afraid, we don't want problem. Look at what happened at Iromi. Look at how the Ekpobolo guy was shaking. Look at the way he had to run to Kano State and start begging. More than overs, because he started begging them. But look at what happened in Gombe when a suspected truck that the brake never failed went and rammed into a crowd of Southerners. About 10 to 15 of them were instantly killed. Did you hear the Jiga or the Gombe state come out to apologize? After that, we saw what is going on in Benue State. We have seen how the Benue State governor came out to cry yesterday, shed bitter tear, call the people that it is the call northerners that are buying his children, his indigents, that it is the core northerners, that it is indeed that it is the Fulanese. Have you heard the Fulani elite come out to say that, don't worry, Benue, we will deal with this, or apologize, or at least disown those boys that are their children? Have you seen anything like that? So we have to understand that Tinubu is doing the Lord's work. Sometimes the God will send even a bigger demon to battle the little demon troubling your own life. Let me repeat in case you did not understand. Sometimes God will send a bigger demon to come and trouble that lesser demon disturbing your own life. As it stands today, the South, the Middlebelt have an unofficial agreement that any day that Nigeria decides to have a referendum, they will all agree unilaterally, unequivocally, that no issue, no debate, let us push forward. And this is the clear agenda of Tinubu. South, we have to come together. Even if I am not performing well, let us come together. You can see that Wike that has said in the past that APC is like a cancer in the body of a human being, that it will be over his dead body for him to join APC rather than other, he will remain in PDP. But when Wike saw the betrayal, when he saw how wicked and how self-centered the Norths are, when Tambua, despite the fact that it was Wike that sponsored PDP, Wike spent a lot of money to revive the sinking ship of PDP within the period of 2019 to 2022 into 2023 election. Within a period of 3 years, Wike, the Rivers State governor, and Delta State governors, and Bayelsa State governors, they spent billions upon billions to sponsor PDP, with the fact that a Southerner was supposed to go after a Northerner Buhari, but somehow Tambua did the Northern schemic, the Northern cunning ways, the Northern, they think they are wise. And Tambua, on that day of the primaries, broke the heart of Wike when it has been reported that they've agreed. When it was reported that Tambua and Wike, some hours before the primaries, even had an exchange of pleasantries. It was reported that Wike sent a mail to Tambua. Despite that, Tambua said, "Oh, come on, I would not leave my brother, no matter how terrible he is, for a stranger." And Tambua threw Wike under the bus. That opened the eyes of Wike. And that very moment, Wike aligned that a Southerner must spend 8 years. Whether that person is a monster, whether that person is a drug dealer, whether that person is an assassin, whether that person is a pastor, whether that person is terrible. In fact, even if that person is an MC Oluomo, a southerner, provided the North can betray him despite all the financial support that he gave, he pushed, he pumped into PDP, and this is how they will stab him at the back, that indeed he will follow a southerner. And we can see how Wike, through Tinubu, have been extracting, kidnapping, ambushing the PDP. Right now, the PDP have lost their course. Right now, Okowa is a political godson, the current governor of Delta State. The River State, we can see that a person like Fubara ran to London to beg Tinubu, Maoga, I don't hear. Shebi now to leave PDP, I go leave her. Please reinstall me in River State. And it has been reported that very soon Fubara will return. He will be reinstated as the governor, but without him not fulfilling that. Therefore, River State will also be under the ambit of Tinubu. I understand this doesn't sound too nice, but you must look at this from the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the South needs to become politically united, not culturally united. You know, in the North, they are culturally united. Almost 85% of the North are Muslims. 85 to 90% of the North speak one language, which is a Hausa language. All right? So basically, the North are very closely ideologically related. But in the South, we cannot say the same. What actually joins us together as a Southerner is we are educated, heavily educated. We commonly speak English. Religiously, we are not so united because the Southwest is like an equal mix of Christian and Muslims. But within the Southeast and the South, they are not culturally united, but they are religiously united. They are 80 to 85% Christians. So you see that the South needs to become a power block to be able to define that the North are not the only power brokers in Nigeria. That indeed we can also define who becomes the president, so that we can begin to have our own El-Rufai that will be spewing trash. You know, El-Rufai said nonsense some other day. He said, if it wasn't because of the North, no Southerner would have been able to become a president. That it was the North that kicked Jonathan out. That they will also kick Tinubu out. Whether he performs or not doesn't matter. It is them. That whoever becomes a president from the South, if you do not do the bidding of the North, if you do not yield, you will be kicked out. That is the language that the North has always said to us in the South. And Tinubu has taken this personal. He has said that he will do everything to break that hegemony, to break that oligarchy, to break that illusion that the North owns Nigeria. We can see how the Fulani think they are unstoppable. But Tinubu has said that this country, I will crack that North. I will crack that Northern oligarchs. I will crack those that think that Nigeria belongs to them. And ever since 2024, the Northerners are sad. They have been calling Tinubu all manner of names. They have been running all manner of campaigns. This is why you saw that when we had that band governance, it was the North that had the largest population that trooped out. You can see that whenever we are having political debates, the North are always out there. When Buhari was in power, was Buhari a good person? Was Buhari a competent president? When Buhari was in power, we know how Buhari plunged this country into poverty. We know how Buhari was illegally imprinting money here and there. So Tinubu came on board. Tinubu started electing or anointing or appointing his own Yoruba people. We started seeing the North cry, marginalization, marginalization, marginalization. The Igbos must rise. The Igbos must rise. Hey, woo. But when Buhari was there, and Buhari appointed, out of 100 and something for the security architecture, Buhari appointed almost 95% of them were Northerners. Back then, the Northern youth, the Arewa youth, the Fulani coalitions, the Hausa Forum, all of them did not come out. Ali Ndume did not shout, hey, marginalization, hey, this. When they brought the farmers' loan, they call it anchors borrowers, whereby Buhari spent almost 3 trillion. Almost 60% of that went to the North. The South did not cry. So you see what Tinubu is doing? You are a Southerner that wants South to progress politically, a Southerner that you know that Nigeria to move forward, for it to move forward, Nigeria needs to divide. Then I think you should support the agenda of what Tinubu is doing. I might not like Tinubu, but the North needs to be provoked. The North, they need to be provoked. Let's listen to this statement of Baba Ahmed, who has said that Tinubu is doing everything to break Nigeria. Let's listen to it together.
Yanzu ban buɗe baki na. Kaga kwanan nan na sauka daga aikin nan ban fara magana ba kuma ina da hujjoji na. Amma inda zan yi magana din zaka ga cewa akwai alaka da yawa akan abubuwan da yake faɗi kamar da can ba ka gani shi wannan da ya mun takunkumi. Akwai alaka, akwai kamar tsakanin abin da yake faɗi da abin da nake. Abin da zai yake so in ce a gaskiya arewa yanzu ita za ta tashi ta kwaci kanta. Wallahi sai mutanen arewa sun gane, sun yi ma kansu karatun tanasu, sun kwaci kansu da kansu. Su kiyaye mayaudaran 'yan siyasa, su kiyayi abubuwan da zai raba kansu. Duk abin da ya shafi musulmi da kirista da baju da fulani da mangu da sauransu a ko ina ne wallahi ta shafi. Mun taɓa ganin wannan kafin shugaban ƙasa Buhari ya zama shugaban ƙasa. Lokacin muna campaign ɗin shi, Boko Haram na sa bom a masallaci, su sa a coci, su sa a Abuja, su sa a Lagos. Boko Haram suka haɗe mana, suka sa mutanen arewa suka haɗe kansu gaba ɗaya. Abinci ne, saboda haka babu wani wanda zai zo ɗan siyasa yanzu da zai zo ya ce ina arewa mu ce ga mu, ya ce mana ku yi layi a bayana. Kai wani wane? Ya gaya mana abin da za ka yi mana da hanyoyin da za ka yi mana ma. Mun kuma mun idan mu ya buɗe. An yi shekara 8 na Buhari. Yanzu ga wannan gwamnatin tana nan. Muna wayo. To shi kenan mun zauna mun sai dai kawai kuka a Najeriya nan mu ma fa 'ya'ya ne. Muna son gwamnatin da za ta fahimci matsalolin da muke da shi kuma ai mana magana. Saboda haka magana arewa ba karamin magana ba. Ni dai na sani insha Allah nan da wata 6 sai kaga an yi wani babban juye ko wani sauyi na inda arewa a kiblar da arewa za ta ko sauran Najeriya su biyo mu ko mu tafi mu kaɗai. Mu dai mun san cewa ba mai zama shugaban ƙasa a Najeriya in ba da arewa. Kuma mun san da irin raini da irin abin da ake mana sai an koma ana da na sani. In dai ba mummunan zaɓe za a ce za a yi ba a ce arewan mu shi ne kawai za a ce a yi mummunan zaɓe kuma a 2027 wallahi su yi hankali, yana iya kawo ƙarshen nan.
Dokta, kana yi wa 'yan arewa albishir ne na cewa nan da wata 6 akwai wani abu da ko walau ku daga ɓangaren dattawan arewa kuke ganin za ku yi da zai ɗaga muhimma da martaba arewa, zai kawo canji, ko ku a ɓangaren siyasa kuna hasashen wancan sabuwar tafiya da ake yi kuna ganin za ta yi tasiri na ƙila samar wa arewa ta inuwar da in ta gaji da wancan ranar ta shiga wacce?
Duka kamar yadda na ce maka fa, talakan arewa da wannan kungiyoyin da kake magana da tawan arewa da masu kishin arewa, akwai lokacin da za mu zo mu haɗu mu cika ya isa kuma an kusa. Zaluncin nan ya isa haka, mu banzantar da mu a watsi da mu a waye arewa ya isa. Wallahi mun san ko mu suwaye, mun sani. Shi yasa ni kullum yanda wanda yake magana yakan ban sha'awa, saboda yakan faɗa abu daidai yanda yake. To wanda baya son abin da kake faɗi, in ka faɗa sai ya ce gaba kake da shi ko kuma kana mishi munakisa. Ni dai na sani, ka ce min ko hasashe nake yi yanda abubuwa ke tafiya a arewa, to lokaci ya kawo ko da ɗan arewa zai buɗe lokaci ya zo ta inda abin zai fito, ko mutum ɗaya ne ko ƙungiyoyi ne ko ta siyasa ne. Ni dai na san talakan arewa idan da ya yi kurakurai na jefa ma mutane ƙuri'a, ko don ɗan arewa ne ko don wasu 'yan ƙalilan 'yan arewa sun je sun ce dole sai an kawo ɗan kudu an yi, to wannan ta kare. Mun shugabanci muke nema sahihi wanda zai mana maganin matsalolin, in ma daga sama ya faɗo ya faɗo. Amma ka ga yaudarar mu da ake yi a ɗan arewa, ɗan kudu, musulmi, kirista, ku yi wannan ku yi wannan ku yi wannan, wallahi ya kare. Jiki magayi ne. Buhari ya taɓa faɗan wannan, shi a lokacin bai san ashe za mu dawo da tuna jiki magayin nan ba.